So I'm here with a special guest tonight, Finn. Finn,
Yeah.
how you doing?
Hello, I'm good.
Finn and I saw a movie tonight. What movie did we see, Finn?
We saw Fast and Furious 10? Was it just Fast 10, yeah?
Fast 10, you're fucking
Fast 10.
10 of these movies now.
Yeah.
We are 10 movies in and we still have, 2 more to go now?
Yeah, and I think there's Hobbs and Shaw, that was a spin-off.
Yeah,
right?
so,
11.
so technically 11 Fast and Furious movies. Plus, and I'm sure, in the next couple of years, we will get like a ton of spin-offs and prequel, I'm sure would be in the works.
Yeah.
And I think there was even a TV series at one point as well.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which is shocking. But yeah, so we saw Fast and Furious. What were your thoughts on this, Finn?
I've seen worse, but I wouldn't call it a good movie. It was pretty boring.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not a big Fast and Furious fan. I know you aren't either.
No, not really. I'm kind of an outsider to the series. I saw part 1 and part 9. I haven't seen any of the other in-betweens.
Yeah, no,
What about you?
I've only seen 8. Actually, no, I've seen 7, 8, and 9.
Oh, okay.
7 I liked quite a bit.
Alright.
Because 7's directed by James Wan. So, yeah, that's a very solid installment there. But, yeah, I was not a fan of this movie one little bit.
No, neither.
The way I pitched it to you, Finn, is this is your standard typical action film. Like, if you removed the Fast and Furious title, this would just be another action film released in theaters. This could have any other title. But, I think, saying that as well, I think this film has the most connections to the franchise. Because I think it ties in, it brings back a lot of iconic characters that we've seen in the other movies, and I thought that was great at how they kind of built that, and I thought the appearances of these characters were fun to see, but I think one of the reasons for that is because these are recognizable actors and actresses in this.
Yeah, a lot of the movie was just like, remember when this happened, or remember this person, here they go.
That's what the movie felt like. It felt like just a whole lot of fan service.
Definitely.
And the other problem is with this movie for me is the fact that it spent way too much time setting up a sequel, which I understand that this is part 1 of part 3, I believe. And I understand why they have to set that up, but right from the start, they're already setting up storylines, and it just happens so continuous. And I feel like if this should have just been I feel like they could have executed that much better.
Yeah, I feel like they could have executed better as well.
Because, I felt that, you're not really getting immersed into the actual story it is presenting to you. Rather it, setting up all these exciting things, by presenting all of these characters that you are like, hey, this character's from Fast 5 and shit. And I felt like that's what the movie felt like.
Yeah, that's true.
And now, one of the big reasons people will see this is the action sequences. What did you think of the action?
Not good. Like, 1 action scene, maybe 2 were okay. Yeah, I kind of like the one where, I guess... Is this spoilers? I don't know, where John Cena was like fighting the dudes in the house. That one was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave me like Rainbow Six Siege vibes when I used to play that, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Except it was nothing like the gameplay, but kind of looked like one of the maps. And there was this fight scene between 2 of the, I don't know the names, but 2 of the female characters in the thing, and it was...
Oh, Brie Larson and the other chick, what is it, Vin Diesel's wife
her
character, yeah.
I think she was in Avatar.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that was like slightly less unrealistic than the other ones, but the rest of the fight scenes were like very unrealistic, very hard to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons, I think this also has the highest budget of any Fast and the Furious movie, and somehow it has the shittest CGI.
The CGI was not good.
Like, especially in the first act, I was like, maybe it's just, a couple of shots here and there, but no, it's continuous throughout the movie. The CGI continues to get worse and worse. Like, there was one shot that literally looked like a video game graphic to me. It was when these cars were flipping over and they were on fire, and that looked so fucking shit to me. And yeah, the action, it felt like the action it was too jump cutty, especially the first action scene that we see, which is with this bomb. It's in the trailer. I felt like that, the way it's filmed, it just doesn't feel coherent.
No, it really didn't.
And it feels very much like it is directed.
Yeah, that's true.
And like it doesn't actually feel, a movie is supposed to kind of immerse you into it, and the entire film, especially that scene in particular, it felt like I was watching a movie.
Yeah, it was very hard to like be immersed and suspend my
Yeah.
disbelief and all that. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned video games, like the thing is, I kind of feel like if the stuff going on was in a video game, like it would be fun, but for movies it's just felt kind of boring, bit cliche, you know?
Yeah. I understand that. And the acting in this film is passable, I would say.
It's alright. I like Jason Momoa. He was really good.
Oh, yeah, Jason Momoa is definitely a standout here. He plays a very cartoonish, like over-the-top character, and that worked. That
Yeah.
worked because this franchise is supposed to be very over the top. It's supposed to just kind of be fun, and I felt like this film took itself way too seriously. And I felt like Jason Momoa, he kind of embraced that fun aspect to his character.
Yeah, I definitely got the impression that he was like trying with the script, like he was trying to make it work and
Yeah.
trying to make it fun and whatever. Where a lot of the other guys, like I don't know, like Vin Diesel and some of the others, it just felt like they were just reading their lines,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like yeah,
And I think Jason Momoa's delivery here I thought was really good. He has a very Joker-esque personality to him.
yeah,
Like in the way that he kind of shit talks like our heroes, the way he kind of laughs, the way he kind of just does things, what he wears and all that. It feels very Joker-like to me.
yeah. I see that. I mean, I'm kind of like a sucker for like sociopath characters, so
Same here.
that kind of stuck to me. I get the Joker thing, like kind of like Joker, but a bit more flamboyant, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Normally, I was expecting like Jason Momoa to just be how he normally is, like just kind of like a gruff big dude. But it was cool to see him do something else.
Yeah. And I think out of the entire franchise, I would say Jason Momoa is going to go down in history as being one of the most iconic villains in this franchise, and I think he just feels like the one that's actually putting in the most effort here.
Definitely.
Because what I found here is everybody else was trying way too seriously with their lines. They were trying to make it a serious film.
Yeah.
And then Jason Momoa, on the other hand, is like he knows that this is like a shit script, and he knows it's supposed to be fun, ridiculous fun.
Yeah.
And it just there were a lot of scenes in the film that just didn't feel consistent because of that.
Yeah, that's true.
And like I'm looking forward to seeing where this franchise does go. I think what they set up here, it's interesting. It's good to see that they've come full circle with a lot of stories that they have set up over the previous films. And like I think one of the reasons for why we watch Fast and the Furious is not only for the action but also the hot chicks in this film. I feel that this film didn't have as much of. Like,
Yeah, there was like a few like eye candy scenes and whatever.
Yeah.
And there was like a few racing scenes. I was like,
Yeah,
you
no, I
know,
did
kind
like
of
that.
like, oh yeah, they're trying to go back to what it originally was, because there was a lot more of that
Yeah.
in the first one,
There was.
which was like kind of a cool throwback, I guess. And like
Yeah.
when they do the cars with the nitrous, like I don't think that was in 9 at all, but
No. No, it wasn't actually. No.
yeah,
And I think one of the other problems I have is 10 just doesn't feel like, I feel like they should have stopped this franchise at 9, because I feel like with each Fast and the Furious they're always trying to go bigger, go badder and all of that, and I feel like in this one it feels like just another Fast and Furious. I
It
feel
really
like,
did,
they've already been to the moon. Like, where else can you go with this franchise? And so, I feel like this one was trying to keep it more grounded, but I could tell that they were definitely trying to create some of the biggest action set pieces we have seen in this entire franchise. I could definitely tell that. I think the only way that they can actually make this franchise bigger is if they go to Mars, or if they even go.
they might. I mean,
or if they go to fucking heaven.
maybe they do something like that in the sequels. Who knows?
Yeah. And just, I don't know. This movie really just was not for me. Like, the whole family element in this You know, like it works, I'd say, but it just I don't know. I just don't really care for that side of the story because I feel like at this point, you know, it's an action franchise. It's not. It's, you know, nobody goes to these movies with story in mind.
Well, yeah, like the first one had like nothing to do with the family plot.
Yeah, and
it's just about an undercover cop like trying to bust like gangs in racing strips or whatever, and then it goes into like this whole family thing, and they're working for like, I don't know, the CIA or some other, you know, secret service agency. So.
Yeah, and and I think they introduced the family aspect in 6, if I remember correct, because that's one of the tanks. I want to say 6 is the one where they introduced the family element, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel. It just, I don't know. To me, it doesn't work. Like, I feel like this movie, it would have been much better if it was more self-aware.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
That's, you know, what would have worked for me, and you know, I'll put, you know, minor spoilers in the title of this video, but you know, yeah, Jason Statham, I really liked, but you know, I felt like
we hardly saw any of him in the film.
No, he's in it for like 2 minutes. Same with a lot of characters, and you have to kind of keep in mind that all these actors and actresses who showed up for like a day to shoot their scene would have got paid, you know, top billing.
Yeah, that's
the movie.
true.
You have to keep that in mind, and it's just like, it's shocking when almost some of them have no dialogue; they just show up.
Yeah, that's very true. There was a lot of cameos in the movie.
There was.
Pete Davidson had a cameo.
Yes, yeah, I did like that one. I did like that.
It was okay.
Pete Davidson, I'm not a huge fan of, but you know, I felt like his kind of.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the best cameo was the Discord cameo.
Discord, why is that?
Oh, when Pete Davidson was talking, he had Discord open up in his computer. It was like on some server or whatever.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I do remember that now. I do remember that. Yeah, and just the film feels like multiple scenes. It doesn't, because it jumps to location to location to location, and there's just no like.
Yeah, like they're in Rio de Janeiro, then they're in Antarctica, then they're in like Puerto Rico, and then I think they're in some other countries as well.
Yeah, 100%.
London, Rome, you know.
Yeah, it's like, it's not coherent. It jumps all over the place in the film. It feels too big than what it actually is.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I feel about it. I personally was not a fan of this movie. I was bored, you know, bored through a large portion of the film.
I was pretty bored as well.
The only part that actually saved the movie for me was the final half an hour. I thought there was some really great stuff in the last half an hour, especially with Vin Diesel's son. You know, I really liked a lot of that.
I didn't really care for the final half an hour.
You're right.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can kind of see the appeal, but for me, it just felt like more of the same. Just like, get the CGI explosions, but tune it up a little bit, you know, like, yeah. I kind of wasn't expecting cliffhanger because I thought it would just be like the good guys win, so.
Actually, speaking of the cliffhanger here, we're not going to get into massive spoilers here, but to me, it just ends abruptly. Like, especially with the final action scene that we see, like, it ends so abruptly. And then we cut to Antarctica, and then, you know, something happens, and then it's just cut to the credits.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, you know, they have to end, you know, with the intrigue of, you know, people going back to watch the next movie.
Did the movie make you want to watch the sequels?
Oh, I really want to spoil one scene, but there's there's some chicks in here I would not mind seeing on screen again.
Yeah,
there's some chicks in here, and you know for a fact who I'm referring to here, and but you know, I probably won't be in a rush to go back. Like, you know, you have to kind of keep in mind that this is a franchise that's so over reliant on its family segment.
Yeah, that's true.
That when we actually get to part 3, who do you think is going to win, the heroes or the villains? each movie ends the exact same way. It's always going to be the hero.
I don't know. I think the bad guys might win. I think they have a chance.
Like, actually, I won't lie. Jason Momoa, he wasn't intimidating. Oh, he wasn't intimidating, but like, he had, you know, a very sinister feel to him.
Yeah, he was
Joe
cool.
White.
Like, he was probably
Joe White.
the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
I doubt I'm going to watch the sequels.
Oh, no.
But if I do, I would watch it to see more of Jason
Yeah,
Momoa in it.
no. I feel like, you know, he's in the movie quite a bit, but there's just a lot of stories in this film I just did not give two shits about. Like, there's this whole storyline with Brie Larson's character and this rescue mission, and I did not care for that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't care
There
for
was
that.
yeah.
And just, yeah, there's so many storylines here. Like, there's some cool twists and turns in the film. But
I've seen worse, to be honest.
no, 100%. There's way worse films out there. But like, as far as a film, you know, that I'll go to the theater and spend money on, I'm not gonna see this movie again.
Maybe the mistake was watching it sober. Because I was really drunk when I saw Fast, was it 9?
Fast 9, yeah.
So maybe, you know, if I was drunk and I rewatched it, maybe I'd like it more.
Yeah,
Who
no,
knows?
this is definitely a movie to experience when drunk. I feel
Yeah.
like just everything would just be so much better. Like,
Yeah.
because I feel like this is a franchise I feel like that's made to watch drunk. There's no way
Yeah.
these movies are made for, you know, people like us who watch this sober. And I feel like that's when the movie becomes boring. But, you know, we are very much aware that there are fans of this franchise and all of that, but
Yeah, it's got a pretty big following, actually.
yeah, which, you know, to me, every Fast movie feels the same. And, you know, I've only seen, 7 through to 10 now. And, you know, so there's not, I guess, a lot I can say here, but, you know, every movie just feels the same.
Yeah.
It feels like, you know, there's some villain from their past, you know, that comes back, you know, does some damage. It's like, that's exactly what this movie is.
Yeah.
It's just... I was not a fan of some of the worst CGI I think I've honestly ever seen.
The
on
CGI was
screen.
terrible, especially considering, like, they've probably got a massive budget as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. I don't know how the CGI is that bad. I mean, you fucking went to space in the last movie. I'm sure that
Yeah.
was fucking green screen and CGI.
Yeah, that's true.
And this movie, I don't like. I think they bit off way too much than they can actually chew.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And yeah, the direction in the film is it's like, I mean, it is what it is. I guess the direction was fine. I mean, I think for a lot of people who watch this, I think it will end leaving Fast and Furious fans satisfied with what they watch, because this has more of what you like. It has the over-the-top action. It has, you know, like, it has the race car sequences.
Yeah.
It has the hot chicks in it. It has everything that a Fast and Furious fan, you know, kind of go to these movies for. So I think if you are Fast and Furious, I think this is definitely a movie to check out.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts to say?
I don't think so.
Fast and
Yeah, watch if you're a fan of Fast and Furious, but if you have my take on movies, which is the objectively correct take, then yeah, you're not missing out on much.
And like, the thing is, there's better action movies out there as well.
Yeah,
There's
the
much-
action was pretty lame.
There's
yeah.
much better, there's much
Yeah.
better action movies. Like I bet hands down that the Gran Turismo movie coming out is going to be way better than this.
Which one?
Gran Turismo, the making of Gran Turismo
Oh, okay,
movie
that's
based
cool.
on the video game.
Yeah, that could be
It
alright.
has David, who's the guy from Stranger Things?
I haven't seen Stranger Things.
Right. Well, it has David Halborn. I think
No,
his name is. He has a beard, so he's in the movie. He's very cool actor.
Do you have any final thoughts about the movie?
It's not going to be a movie I watch again. I think they should
Yeah.
have ended this franchise at 9. I think carrying it on
Yeah.
now, I think is just, they're really just trying to pull as much money from this franchise as they can, because this
Definitely,
is
yeah.
a $1 billion, franchise here, and I think they're really just trying to pull, like a few $1,000 out of people's wallets.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, this is a film, that doesn't change up the Fast and Furious formula. It doesn't do anything different, doesn't do anything unique, minus a few storyline beats in this film. But yeah, this is a film I was not a fan of. I was bored. I could not wait to leave the theater. I was thinking about halfway leaning over to you and being like, being like, "Can we leave?"
Yeah, I was tempted as well.
Yeah, and
I did check my watch a few times.
Yeah. Well, I was shocked. Like, yeah. Anyways, yeah. Yeah. I have nothing else to say. This movie is terrible, but check it out if you will.